Apologies for the short delay. I was coming as fast as I could from Mombasa, which is not always easy. So we beg your indulgence for that. Swearing in of our president and deputy president scheduled for 30th January at Uhuru Park is on. We further bring your attention to the fact that we will be having quite a number of pre-inauguration celebrations and activities as throughout the country as we draw closer to the date, which we intend to be significant events in their own right. The culmination of these pre-inauguration activities and festivities will be, as I have stated, at Uhuru Park, as more than 2/3 of the country, which stands with NASA, convenes to witness what we think and believe will be the most significant events our citizens have ever organized for themselves, to secure their interests, their rights, their dignity, and to chart political destiny. We want to reiterate that the swearing in is a reclamation of the NASA presidential election victory of August the 8th, 2017, as we have made it clear that we do not recognize the sham election and the electoral coup that the Jubilee administration conducted on the 26th, following which it is now exercising an illegitimate presidency. We are proceeding with the People's Assembly process, and we are engaging with those Kenyans who are convinced that electoral justice is critical for a stable, or in fact imperative, for a stable, fair, prosperous nation. The People's Assembly process is an open, inclusive dialogue, political dialogue, that is intended, and we are sure we will deliver a transformational change in our politics, and that which will ensure that every vote in Kenya counts. We have so far had sittings of the People's Assembly in the coast, actually 2 of them, one in Kilifi and one in Mombasa on Sunday, in Western, the former Western province, which called itself the Luhya or Mulembe Nation. We have had a sitting, a large, successful sitting in Ukambani, and each of these has drawn up locally contextualized resolutions in the preparation for the national convention process. On Saturday 27th, which is the coming Saturday, we are proceeding to the West again for the Luo Nyanza People's Consultative Forum, which will be hosted by Homa Bay County. We wish to salute the Luo Nation for consistently and resolutely standing up against electoral injustice throughout the 50 years of Kenya's independence. It is still fresh in our minds how Luo Nyanza was profiled, brutalized, and innocent lives lost for simply exercising the right to reject dictatorship and for demanding the democratic right to a free and fair election. The Luo Nyanza Assembly, as with all others, will deliberate on how to remake this nation so that it works for all of us. We are convinced that this nation has no future, this country has no future, unless we can agree on how to share power and exercise it responsibly. And by sharing power, we are quite explicit that this is a conversation that should be held by the communities of Kenya, not by amorphous stakeholders called private sector or the church or different type of groups. Kenya belongs to its people, and the people belong to their respective communities and sub-nations. And those are the people who must decide how we are going to share power, exercise it ensure that it is exercised responsibly, share opportunities equitably, and of course, above all, how to coexist peacefully as distinct communities brought together by the cruel fate of colonialism. So from the Homa Bay People's Assembly on Saturday, we will officially launch our nationwide pre-inauguration festivities as we prepare to converge on Uhuru Park to exercise our sovereignty so that we can bestow our sovereignty and delegate our sovereignty to those leaders who we believe we elected for ourselves on the 8th of August 2017. Thank you very much. We are now prepared to take your questions. Question? Name? Ken Bijungu. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Good questions. First, the Homa Bay Assembly is not the last. We have about 4 others that will take place after that. But because of organization and scheduling, we tend to announce them as they are confirmed because their dates are not confirmed. But there are 4 others. We've had 4 regions, we're going to hold another 4, probably 5. Some regions are coming forward and saying they want to hold some 2. So there are places we haven't planned, but they think that, so we haven't stopped constituencies. Like we have had the coast twice because Kilifi hosted, Mombasa hosted. Taita Taveta has very fundamental issues which are, they are thinking that they might want to hold a forum in Taita Taveta, for instance. So it's a fairly open process. But we do want to complete it probably towards the end of February at the latest so that we can do the national conventions. So that we can then move on to implementing our agenda in this agenda in this first quarter, probably no later than the first half of the year. With regard to Uhuru Park, you know, we have a constitutional right to assembly. And political assembly is the most important assembly that people can exercise constitutionally. To try and preempt that by administrative action is in fact now the kind of undermining of the Constitution and the creeping authoritarianism that we are fighting. So we're not going to allow the very things that we are fighting to be used to undermine the very rights that we are trying to exercise. There's nothing wrong with Uhuru Park. It is not being renovated. We know that the leadership of Nairobi is quite capable of pouring sewage there and doing all sorts of things. But that's the caliber of people we are dealing with. They have no respect for democracy. They have no respect for the Constitution. This is the kind of administrative state sort of action that was used all the way from colonialism to undermine rights. Political rights are supreme. They supersede that kind of administrative action. So as soon as you see that action, the prerogative and the duty of people who value their political rights is to challenge it. And the way to challenge it is to go there. Yes, we did. Okay. No. They are festivities. And you know, festivities are local things. So what the people of Homa Bay choose to do might be different from what the people of Kwale choose to do. But we're saying from tomorrow, today in fact and tomorrow, as we sort of approach, various places in the country will sort of do their thing. Some will choose to do just a bonfire and sit out there. Some may decide to have a music festivity, all sorts of things. But we are going to sort of, there's a kick of various festivities. This is a festive thing. I mean, we are inaugurating our leadership. And for us, it is almost equivalent to the festivities of 12 December 1963. So that is a kind of festive sort of character that we want to give them. Thank you. Yeah. Jukumu la wananchi ni kuja kwa hii sherehe. Sasa mtu ana maswali, hii sherehe inaendeshwa vipi? Akitaka kujua ni aje to witness. Yeah? Watu wametuuliza sana, wananchi kila mahali. Siwezi kutembea kwa mguu, sababu hata niuliza sherehe iko sawa, naambia ndio iko sawa, kujeni. So hii ni sherehe ya wananchi, na ile moja ya nia zetu ni kuelimisha watu kuhusu katiba. Kuna watu wanaamini kwa kuchukua mamlaka ni kupatiwa vyombo fulani. Sasa ukivaa kofia fulani, ama uvalishwe mavazi fulani, ama ukae jumba fulani, ama uendeshwe na magari fulani, hiyo ndio kuwa na mamlaka. Na tunataka kuelimisha wananchi kuwa mamlaka ni wao wanatoa. You delegate power. It is not gadgets. Okay? So, ile kitu muhimu zaidi ni wananchi kujitokeza popote. Wale hawataweza kufika Nairobi, wajitokeze kwa miji na vijiji zao. Wale watu wote ambao hawakupiga kura tarehe 26, tunawahimiza watokee pahali, waseme sisi hilo jukumu la mamlaka ya Kenya tumewampatia Raila Odinga na Kalonzo Musyoka. Kama tungeweza tuhesabu hao watu, tunaweza kuonyesha kwa hakika kuwa wao ndio wa Kenya wamepatia jukumu la utawala, sio watu ambao wanatoa namba fulani kwa kompyuta, vile tunaona kwa ile michezo ya kamari. Inaitwaje? Loto. Nasema ati unafanya hiyo kitu, unazungusha, unatoa namba fulani, unaweka hiyo, unatoa namba ingine, unasema mtu fulani amepata kura milioni 8 na watu waliotokea ni milioni 3. Sasa tunataka kuonyesha kuwa jukumu, wananchi wajitokeze wote, waseme kwa sauti moja, waseme kwa nguvu kuwa sisi leo tumeichukua jukumu letu ambao tumejipatia kwa katiba, na tumewapatia mamlaka viongozi fulani.
If Jubilee is not going to allow for dialogue, the swearing in is going to be held. Suppose they call for dialogue, are you going to suspend this swearing in? Also, remember that this week you are supposed to go to Manila and Kisii, which are considered regions, NASA regions. Why is it that you have considered to go to Homa Bay instead of appreciating to go back to Kisii? And then finally, have you identified somebody who is going to swear in the two principles?
Okay, your first question is dialogue. Let me make it clear. I think what has happened is that people are not listening very keenly to what we are saying. And they are also looking for differences which don't exist. We have said that we are prepared for dialogue on electoral justice. We have particular things which we have said constitute electoral justice. Okay? We have said that we are prepared to talk about those things, and we will talk about them at some point, because ultimately there will have to be a dialogue, a national dialogue between us and Jubilee. It is not swearing in, and our people assembly process is not a bargaining chip. What Hon Kalonzo has been saying very clearly is, Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, you want to begin this dialogue this side of the swearing in, as opposed to the other side. Okay? So his opinion is, if we begin the dialogue now, even after we swear in, yeah, it is a much better sort of situation when the dialogue is ongoing. Instead of leaving it so that you get the situation, you get the sort of gap between our two sides growing bigger and bigger. That's his opinion. He's a diplomat. So that is his preferred timing. So that Jubilee should sort of have, but it has to be about electoral justice. We are not, electoral justice for the 2017 election is non-negotiable. If Uhuru was to come up and say, okay, I admit the 26th election was not valid, and we agree that as a beginning point, we repudiate the 26th election, that then we might have a conversation and see whether it is worth suspending the swearing in about. But it would have to be a very significant admission on their part that they are not a legitimate presidency for that conversation to happen, which is probably what Kalonzo Musyoka was hoping for. But he's obviously, as a diplomat, more optimistic than some of us, or the rest of us. But on agreed as to what the outcome we would be looking for, there is absolutely no disagreement. On the question of Kisii, nothing has changed. What happened, at least, maybe you didn't have enough adequate information. We were going to go to Luo Nyanza on Saturday and then Kisii on Sunday. Okay? But this schedule was done before we sort of scheduled the swearing in. So the question of postponing Kisii is logistical, because we say, okay, we're actually going to go to Migori because it's nearer, and then come to Kisii on Sunday, and then come back. So we looked at, and we thought, look, we are going to shortage Kisii. Yeah? We had chosen Sunday because most of Kisii is seventh day. But at any rate, we thought, in fact, there are also people who go to church on Sunday in Kisii. So we said, okay, let's actually put it off. At any rate, our program is already too heavy. But we had actually scheduled those two back to back. What was your third question? I want to take you back to the previous answer, the preoccupation with symbolism. We are not trying to, it is not drama. Okay, this is not a stage play. Yeah? So people who want to know how it is done will have to come and watch TV. The most important thing is how many people will participate in this event, both physically present and those supporting it, not physically present. That's it?